What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another Green Tea Chronicles movie reviews. This is a throwback movie review of Hereditary. This is a horror film that came out in 2018, directed by Ari Aster, the one who also put out Midsummer. Now, I also like Midsummer, but out of the two, I gotta say I like Hereditary more. And it is starring Tori Collette, which I love her and everything. It's starring Alex Wolff and Millie Shapiro. This movie tells a story of a family with a generational curse connected onto them. And you see this curse go all the way down the family. And throughout the film, you just start to see some very unexplained, horrific things happening. And to go through the characters and kind of explain each of them, starting from the character played by Tori Collette, she's the mother. Her mother has passed away. That's how the movie comes on. And she goes to like a support group to get support on how to deal with, just the burden of not really having a close relationship with her mother. So to me, I kind of felt like she was feeling guilty about not having this close connection with her mother before she passed. And she even mentioned how close her mother was to her youngest child, her daughter, and how her mother pretty much like wanted to take over, being the parent of that child. And also she has an older son. And you can just tell the relationship between her and her son wasn't as close as it was to her youngest child, because if she said that her mother kind of wanted to be the mom of the youngest child, I guess she's just really getting close to that child. And she don't really have a close connection to her oldest child. And by that happening, it just kind of shows the distance between them. And, it's like she's just trying to understand things and trying to make herself feel differently about how things has happened in their family from the past. So with accepting her mother's death and everything, she do like these little figures that she put into like a dollhouse. She do things like that. And as she does it, she kind of makes the figures of their own family. And she even puts she even makes one of them of her mother and puts it into the house. And to me, it's kind of like through those figures, she's living through the past. And I think that's just another way of her kind of expressing how she felt about her mother when her mother was alive, which she did mention in the support group. Her and her husband, like their marriage didn't seem very, very close connected, but that they loved each other. And again, her relationship with her son, it just didn't have that close connection as well. Now, she pushed her daughter on her son to go to a party one night, and the little girl, she is allergic. She has a peanut allergy. She ends up eating cake at the party. The cake has peanuts in it, or peanut ingredients in it. And, she starts to have an allergic reaction and she can hardly breathe. He leaves the party to rush her to the emergency room. She puts her head out of the window to make herself able to catch her breath. And, it ends up being a freak accident. During the funeral for the little girl, Toni Collette, she did an amazing job playing that role of a mother at her child's funeral. Like, she really, really, really portrayed a person who's just lost their child. She really did really, really good with that scene. Very, very, very emotional scene. And her son, it's like you can tell that he was traumatized. He stayed in that state of shock moment, even after his little sister died. And you can also tell that she was kind of holding it against him. You knew it by the way they communicated and by the way they didn't communicate that much. And it's like she just broke. And by her breaking, she ended up kind of like dabbling into things that are not a part of this world to kind of cross over to the other side and communicate with the dead. And with doing that, that kind of made the people, like this cult like entity, attach itself on to their family. And by this cult already taking her mother, the cult needed a young girl next. I just take it like that. That's my theory. I'm thinking that maybe the cult needed to sacrifice a young female child next. And then it needed to sacrifice a male. And then it needed to sacrifice another female, and just on down the line. Hereditary, only in the mother's side of the family. Of course, it wasn't the father's side of the family. The father, by him not believing the story about it, like if he had because there was a part in the film when she really needed her to believe these things were happening, and he was just thinking you're losing your mind because of something that had happened in the past. So he's not, he's not necessarily gonna believe anything that she's saying about this entity that has come into their house and it's kind of like come into her spirit. So he's not really listening to her. But had he listened to her and destroyed this book that the daughter left behind, she left a lot of pictures in the book explaining this happening. If he believed it and threw it into the fire, that would have destroyed the entity. But he didn't. So she went ahead and did it, not knowing that that would destroy him for being a non-believer of the cult. That's my theory on the film. And I hope I didn't, confuse anyone explaining it. But, if you haven't checked that film out, it is on, I think it is on Prime Video. I don't think Hereditary is on Netflix, but don't mark my words on there. It might be on there. But y'all go and check out Hereditary if you're into horror films and into things that are kind of like on a mystery side, thriller side, on a just on the side of horror that's not dealing with, like the beasts, monsters, or anything like that. So yeah, that's my thought on Hereditary. Y'all leave y'all thoughts down below if you've seen a film, if you're planning on seeing a film. Leave your thoughts down below, and thank y'all for watching.